Three, two, one. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting film adventure with Delusions of Grandeur. I am one of your hosts, but today we are going to go on about a film that our good friend Boris put out there for us. It is a 1994 full moon release called Dark Angel: The Ascent, or otherwise known as Dark Angel, or otherwise known as The Dark Angel. I guess if you really wanted to go by a certain title, you could go by any of those. Hello, Mo.
Hello, Wolf.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hello.
Hey Mo.
So I just
Hey.
got into talking about about the title, and whatnot. But I'll go into IMDb's explanation of the film. Woman destined for freedom manages to escape hell. When she arrives from the sewers of Earth, she decides to punish sinners. But the last thing she expected to find was love. So, going with first impressions, and since we have our resident full moon archival person along for the ride with us, Mo, why don't you give us your first impressions of this film, and was this a first time watch for you?
It's not one that I have like history with from childhood. I think maybe I might have seen it at the store or something, like the video store back in the day, but I never got around to renting it. And I
Okay.
never got around to even watching it until I bought it when I started really diving into collecting all of the, like the full moon movies that everybody doesn't always talk about, And for my money, this is probably the most underrated movie in their entire catalog. It's probably better than everything else that they did in the 90s. It just, for whatever reason, kind of flew under the radar, even for a lot of full moon fans. But I love it, man. I mean, there's just something about it, It's like Splash meets Little Mermaid meets fucking black metal or something, and I can't get enough of it.
Nice one.
Okay, is that the end of your first impression then?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm sure we're all gonna shout out similar scenes as we go here, but the movie's basically perfect. It's a great example of top tier full moon shit.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Heading over to you, Boris, since this is your pick. Why don't you tell us? Was this a first time watch for you, and why did you bring it to our attention?
Well, it's not quite the first time, but the first time was several days ago, and today I rewatched it for this discussion. And why I chose this one? Well, it was my turn to pick a movie, and I couldn't think of any that was more fitting with the themes we have been doing these past few weeks. So I figured out I would bring up one of my choice entirely, even if it's not connected to anything else we'd been doing before. And why I liked this movie? Well, it was Wow who suggested it to me a while ago, and I joined one of his live streams. And yeah, he knows I'm into this kind of stuff, demons and things like that, and he knows I like female demonic characters, and he said I would probably enjoy the movie. And as soon as I read the IMDb description and reacted to the very idea of it, Mo and Crow started to joke that I was already orgasming over the movie.
Yeah, his reaction to it was fantastic.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, you guys definitely weren't wrong when you said I would enjoy this movie. I definitely did. It's like uh, this movie is practically what I have wanted to see on screen ever since I grew fond of demonic women. As some of you probably know, I grew fond of that concept when I watched John Bowker's The Seekers, where we have a female character who does kind of similar things to what the lady in this movie does, but maybe a little more to the evil side. But still, she was what made me like this concept in fiction. And as some of you may know, I'm also writing novels about that woman from The Seekers, and in my envisionment, she is actually in The Seekers. We get to know very little about the movie, but in my interpretation and what you could read in my stories, she is actually a lot like this Veronica character in this movie, which is one of the reasons why I
Well,
absolutely loved this movie. Okay, sorry for rambling about The Seekers now, but similarities were impossible not to notice.
Veronica Maria,
Yeah, yeah, I
there's like a
didn't.
million names.
Yeah. So yeah, this movie is like a perfect mixture of demonic stuff, of horror, gore, and stuff like that on one side, and beauty and romance on the other side, and it all just mixes together into perfection. And I absolutely fell in love with this character, and thank you guys for introducing me to this movie. It became one of those I could probably watch many times without getting bored of it.
Nice. I'm glad that it really warms my heart that you liked it, dude. I was hoping that you would when I recommended it. Fun
Thank
fact:
you.
this is one of the only full moon movies I can think of that's female directed, so that's something. It was
Ooh.
definitely a sausage fest in that stable. So
Interesting. Well, that woman definitely knows how to do the job.
Well, yeah. Even though I said it was a Charles Band movie, it's directed by Linda Hassani and written by Matthew Bright. Which Matthew Bright, he's written quite a few um, screenplays for Full Moon, and Angel Featherstone, I believe, is the actress who plays Veronica.
Yep.
And
easily one of the hottest full moon ladies for sure. Like
Ooh.
she's right up there with Megan Ward and what's her ass from
Take that shirt off before the
Millions.
band breaks up.
the German Shepherd's name, who is the real hero in this whole tale, is actually Italy goes by the name of Heroes, but in here is goes by the name of Hellraiser. So,
He was amazing.
He was all right for a dog.
heading over to Natus or
Natus.
Natus. Was this a first time watch for you?
Yep.
And what were your thoughts?
Well, as I mentioned before we got on air, I was not a fan of the first part of the movie, the hell part. I was like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna like this movie, but I don't know, just the dialogue seemed a little cheesy. The background felt a little cheesy. But once she escaped hell, it got really good. I actually enjoyed it very well. So it definitely turned my opinion around on the movie, and I'm glad. I really enjoyed it. I actually looked to see if there was sequels, and I read that some people said that they were surprised there was no sequels, but so there was not. So if you're looking, don't.
Ooh.
There isn't.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I believe at one point in time it was supposed to have like at least a sequel or two at
Yeah,
one point planned.
they
But
definitely set it up for a sequel, and we definitely, I think we would like to see a sequel. And for those of you who
oh
don't
yes,
know, the main character, the actress, she was also in The Wedding Singer as the ex girlfriend of Robbie, and
Yeah.
I just made the joke of you know. Robbie said to her, "Take the shirt off, Van Halen's shirt off, or the band's gonna break up." Because she left him at the altar, and you know.
Yeah, that is kind of wild that she was in this, and then she was actually like one of the most memorable moments in such a huge fucking movie like The Wedding Singer. It's wild. She's only in the movie for a minute, but it's
Yeah.
a you know
It's a memorable moment. I mean,
yeah, it's one of the funnier moments in the entire movie. So
oh yeah, it's absolutely great. She's standing there in his t-shirt, and he's like, take that shirt off. Not because he wants to see her body again. He just doesn't want to jinx the band.
Well, you guys will be happy to know that me and Chris are working on that Full Moon Revengers script. So it's there is going to be at least a written sequel of sorts to this at some point. He just rewatched Dark Angel so he could figure out how to work her into the script. I mean, you could tell that we've talked about it before, like in the Mordred discussion, but they were definitely trying to like build their own Full Moon Avengers team, and Veronica would have been so badass in that.
oh, tell me about it.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that would be that'd be great to see.
Oh,
The character was really great. I mean, she's definitely hot too.
We're gonna do a table read of that script when it's done, so maybe you can play Veronica Boris.
I could play her. How did you come up with that idea?
I don't know. Actually, I thought of you for Radu from Subspecies because of the accent. I think that would be perfect. So when we eventually do the table read, you might get to play a badass vampire lord, dude.
Ooh, I wouldn't mind.
Gun to bite you in the neck. See, I got an accent too.
well, we got to cover some species on the channel.
For sure.
It's definitely one that I have not seen that I would like to check out. So,
oh, it's a good series.
Yeah, he's gonna love them, dude. It's top tier vampire shit for sure. I even like it a lot, and I'm not huge into vampires, as you know.
You know I am. So,
heading over to Tammy. Was this the first time watch for you?
As far as I know, it is. I might have seen it, a long time ago because one of my favorite full moon is Meridian.
Yes.
So, back in the day when I saw Meridian, they could have been playing other movies, and I could have watched it back then. But I enjoyed it. I think that I'm being a female, but I still think that she was good looking. She definitely got people's attention. I think the funniest part is how big her feet are, but
Yes, those are what really does it for me. Is the big feet.
That part of the hospital when they when they said that, it was just like, wow, okay, oh.
Yeah, although that makes me wonder, they mentioned those feet a few times throughout the movie and kind of made you think the size of her feet would impact the plot in some way, but then nothing really significant happened because of it.
I mean, if you knew a chick that hot, are you gonna want to just tell her like, "Yo, what's up with those big fucking those boats that you're walking around on?"
But yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. The only thing is, I thought they could have done a little bit more with her wings.
Yeah, that's fair.
Good point.
But otherwise, yep, it was fun. It was enjoyable. I liked what she was able to do, and in this day and age, it'd be nice if we had somebody like her at times.
Right?
In a sense, I almost like I could see her like in the Constantine world. you know,
Yeah.
Right.
along that lines.
It's like, okay, your state doesn't have death penalty, but this guy should die. Okay, we'll send her over there. Yeah.
I actually think I saw bits and pieces of this
She's
movie.
the judge, jury, and executioner in this.
Well,
But
yeah, especially with what's
Well,
going
she
on,
learned not to just execute though. She
but
had.
especially with what happened down in Illinois over 4th of July. That guy, she should
What?
definitely go. She definitely should go take care of that
I
guy.
don't know what you're talking about.
There was
You
like a
didn't-
shooting at a 4th of July parade. It's pretty terrible. Yeah, I mean, it's, of all of Full Moon's superheroes that they set up back in the 90s, she's probably the one I could see having legs outside of Full Moon, right? Like I could see her even teaming up with like Spawn. That would be pretty cool. So
yeah, I could see that. As for me, this was a first time watch for me. It's been in my collection, and I picked it up twice. And once when it was at half price books, and the other time I actually bought it straight from Full Moon, I believe. And it's just been sitting on my shelf. So I'm glad that I was actually able to watch it. And I thought the chick was cute. You definitely got a full ass shot and a full frontal, so that was cool.
Right.
Well, when they changed her into like a human, she was straight up fucking naked, walking through the streets. So,
holy shit, dude! I guess at some point in Little Nicky they referenced this movie, which makes sense because she had
Really?
done Wedding. I think Wedding Singer is before Little Nicky.
Right.
So Sandler must have liked her enough to like include a reference to this movie in Little Nicky. That's pretty awesome.
I don't remember that. I gotta watch that movie again.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in years.
But yeah, I like this story. I like the whole idea of Hell Hath No Fury type Dark Angel, vibe going on about it. And I really liked the beginning Hell scenes. I love it when they try to depict Hell in some kind of sadistic way. Those shaking heads just twisted.
Yeah, it reminds me of like old music videos or something. And Full Moon was a fan of it too. They reused that footage in a couple other movies. I know for sure they reuse it in Witch House, and then I think Tomb of Terror. They also cut bits of it into there.
Actually, I enjoyed the imagery of hell quite a bit. Although one thing I found a little strange about this movie, which we kind of get to already know at that point, is that somehow, for some reason, there is no Satan in this movie, but demons supposedly work directly for God.
I'm on vacation.
Well, I actually kind of figured that the devil was in fact her father, in a sense, and
he was at least running that circle of hell.
Yeah, because I kind of figured that he was like,
I father all the human children.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, too, is Satan's supposed to just be like a fallen angel. Hell is definitely like this opposite side of the same coin as heaven. I always thought it was kind of interesting that they didn't play it like right on the nose with the Satan thing, And if you were working down in hell and you're like some lowly pleb like that, you might never even meet Satan. It's kind of like,
well,
and you work at Sam's Club and never meet Sam. I mean,
it's interesting how whenever you see someone from heaven, like talk to them, they come down in a Glinda globe. So.
Good comparison.
or like the moment that you see Annie M saying, Dorothy, where are you? That kind of thing. So. But yeah, so the beginning of the story, we have Victoria, who seems to have like questions about the outside world and want to like seek the outside world for some reason, and
She's
evidently
having dreams.
rules against it, and she gets bitch slapped twice for
Oh,
trying
Talking about
to
her dreams.
talk about her dreams. And she then after the second slap, she basically runs off and finds her way through to the outside world through a sewer opening. And as soon as she comes out of the hole, her demonic appearance disappears, and she is fully naked, and she runs through the streets. And that's when we get to somewhat meet her love interest, who is a doctor by the name of Max, uh, who is taking care of patients in a hospital ward. Um, I guess he's a surgeon of some sort.
Yeah, doesn't she get hit like by a car?
Yeah, she does get hit by a car after he takes a break out on the balcony, and he looks at her, and she just stares at him, and she's got the dog. Although she calls him Beast at first. But yeah, she gets hit by a car. She gets brought in, and I guess from there on out, I guess the hospital, since they found out that there was nothing wrong with her, they were going to let her go anyways. But evidently, the Hellhound or Hellraiser had escaped from whatever pound place that they had taken him to, and he showed up outside the window. And what do y'all think about this meeting between Victoria and Max?
I love the whole intro. I mean, Kroll is right. There is a little bit of a corniness to the hell scenes and some of the dialogue down there, but I think that's because they're leaning into the whole Little Mermaid thing. I really like how she has like her childhood friend help her escape, but then that girl chickens out. It's a good way to illustrate that there's other people in hell that think about this stuff, but actually having the courage to go through with it is very unique to Veronica. She's a special case where that's concerned.
Yeah, she told her where it was because her uncle once
Oh
showed
yeah,
up.
that reminds me when this other demon girl showed her that portal through which she could go to Earth. Why did she even go to her father and talk to him and get slapped again? Why didn't she just go right away as soon as
Well,
she
she
got
wanted
out?
to do things the right way and try to ask permission to go, and it just kind of backfired in her face because
Yeah,
he's
and
just all hellfire and brimstone, you know.
he threw a knife at her and missed and hit the body's parts that were hanging. Obviously, their food.
So,
And,
but eventually, like, you know, once we get to the first thing that she does, which before she even does that, she basically telepathically tells Matt to welcome her, Max to welcome her into his home.
yeah,
So,
and it doesn't hurt that she's drop dead gorgeous, But
Yeah, he was
it's
going to let
not
her room
like
with him eventually. And
he
I
yeah,
takes
think
and
her
then
home.
she telekinetically pops his button off his jacket for some reason, but yeah, I thought that was cool too.
He takes her home. He leaves her some money so that she can go down to the corner store and get some food
For
if
the
she
dog.
wants. And when she goes out and about, I think by this time though she has started to see bits and pieces of the because he goes and takes a nap, I believe, and she like watches the television and finds out about this like evil politician that's just so happens to be the town mayor or whatever.
She finds out about all sorts of evil, but
Yeah,
I
basically
guess
it's good. Sorry.
Yeah, she basically finds out about all the different like evil things that are out in the world, and she's like, I never knew, I didn't think that the world was as evil as I was told. Uh,
Right, it's
but
probably even worse than hell in some ways. I mean, those people down there at least deserve it, you know.
yeah.
oh yeah, so she ends up going out, and she comes across a woman that is being robbed, and it looks like she's about to be raped. So
Are you skipping a scene?
which scene?
The nuns.
Oh yeah.
Oh
She
yeah.
does go. She does go a walk, and she finds a magazine by a newsstand that just so happens to have the face of the mayor on it, and the nuns. These two nuns show up and to ask her if she's like a street urchin or homeless person.
She
And
bows
they,
down to them, and they're like, "Oh, you don't need to do that." And stands her up, and
they're basically just offering her refuge, like at the church, and she's like, "Why do I need to go to your church?" Well, here.
no, she said,
Here, have
"Won't
a
I?
cross."
Won't I to inside the church? Won't I combust?" And they just looked at her strange, and
Yeah.
that's when they hand her the cross. And says, "Well, take this, child." And she takes it, and she's holding it, and you start seeing smoke coming up, and she's burnt, and then the cross lights on fire, and she drops it, and she's like,
Why did you
why,
hurt me?
why would you do that to me? Why would you hurt me? You know, like she
So that
thinks they did it on purpose. Of course, you know,
so
they have no idea that would happen.
because she ran from that hurt, I think that's kind of what helped her come to that full realization of what was happening to the woman, and so I love how her eyes just turn red, a glint of
Oh,
red.
oh yeah, and when her claws come out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she just fucking hits that dude with a straight up Mortal Kombat fatality. I love it.
Oh, nice comparison.
And then, of course, she goes and rips the other guy's spine straight out and
Yeah.
holds it out to the woman and be like, see this and remember it for.
Well, she told her to take
She
it.
told
but
her to take
so-
it.
Yeah.
She told her to take it,
Yeah.
but the woman was repulsed, and so she took it and brought it home and had the doctor eat it with her.
Yeah, it's a good bone, man.
Yeah,
I think some of
actually.
that meal that she prepared had to do with those guys, but
That's what I
Yeah.
said. It was.
Yeah,
I think
doesn't
I
she
think it was
accidentally make Mark
fun.
fucking commit cannibalism?
I think so, and he enjoyed it too. I guess
Max.
human body does
Max,
taste
yeah,
good.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. If there was one scene I would say I didn't like, well, okay, I also didn't like the beginning when those assholes were slapping Veronica in hell. They could both die for all I care for what they did to her. But the only other thing I disliked was this moment when she apparently made Max eat human meat. Not even so much because of any moral reasons. I mean, this is a horror movie after all, but I heard you could get prion disease from cannibalism, and that's just terrifying, and that's the one thing I would keep out of this story.
I thought it was hilarious, but I'm a
I
big
thought it was
fan
great.
of unintentional cannibalism, you know.
I thought it was great.
Okay, I do see why.
Hey, she provided meat for the table. What the fuck?
Hey,
Yeah, I mean,
asked
I
her
heard
where
it's
she
not
got
that
the
bad.
meat from.
It's supposed to taste like pork,
The
so
fact that she
Yeah.
didn't even have to use like any of his money to get the
He
meat.
did ask where she got the meat from, and he said it's a secret. Or what kind of meat it was, and he said it's a secret.
Well, in any case, she had actually been wearing like one of his like doctor jackets, and she left it at the scene of the crime. And so the detectives found it, and they started looking in and investigating it. And so I believe they came by.
Not yet. She kills.
I believe
She kills the two cops first.
That's right. There is in this day and age, I'm not sure if that maybe that will fly, but there was a black man who was walking along, and two policias ended up stopping him just because.
Because you're black.
Yeah. Which so she saw this.
WWB is what it's known as. Walking while black.
She basically made sure that they had their comeuppance. What did y'all think about that moment?
She rips the hat out, and of course she saves that to give to Hellraiser later.
I loved that scene too, both that one and when she murdered the rapists. Both scenes were amazing, and I think they all deserved it. Honestly, if someone if someone in real life did that to rapists and to someone who attacks someone for no reason, abuses power, and it's racist on top of that. If such people got killed in real life to set an example for others, honestly, I wouldn't feel sorry for them, no matter who disagrees.
After that,
I find it fascinating because it's a great example of how to. I mean, I guess nowadays you might even call this movie woke, but it was 1994. That shit didn't exist back then. 92, excuse me. So this, like, Veronica is so innocent because she's just from hell that she's like socially conscious without trying to be. She just knows what's right and wrong, you know. If movies nowadays could take a page from this and make it less insufferably preachy, a lot of these woke messages could be fit into movies in a way that's less annoying. You know, Dark Angel is a good example of like definitely a movie that's like a genre film like this that's ahead of its time, you know.
Makes sense, yeah.
Well, in any case, we have the two detectives. One's older, one's younger, and they end up going to like their boss, and they're trying to get like more like help with their investigation. He's on the whole thing where she's actually killing like all these like people who have bad things on their rap. They're almost like it's you got people here who think that she's doing the justice for these people, you know.
Let's not be hypocritical. She was doing justice.
Well, justice was never supposed to be put in what is it, the hands of the people, as they say.
Well, she's doing that biblical justice, bro.
Yeah,
she's not like just some regular citizen on the street, you know. She's fucking laying down some judgment on those fools, and it's
yep.
She don't respect no laws of man. That's like
so he basically tells him tough shit. You deal with what you got. So they go back to the drawing board, and they end up going and visiting, finding her at the apartment, like outside as she's like about to go in. And
if you didn't mention the hospital scene when they went to the hospital, and that's where they first saw Max, and they were trying to interview the woman, and she was hysterical and talking about hell coming, and the demons are coming up from hell.
That's right.
We all got to repent, repent.
Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah, how would you, if you were that girl lady though, and saw all that, how would you react, man?
You know what? I know a person. Well, I don't know her myself, but I watch the stuff she says on YouTube. I know this female YouTuber from Croatia who says such things without even having encountered demons in real life. She's like, we are living in the end times. Demons will come to earth, the Antichrist, this and that, and then Jesus will come and it will all
Well, yeah, there's all
apparently
kinds of
happen.
religious nutcases.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of those
Well,
lower like. Go ahead. Sorry.
there's a car that drives around here, and it's the whole car is got it's basically black, but it's like a station wagon, and there's stuff written all over it. It's all pieces of scripture and everything,
Yeah.
and the guy talks over a loudspeaker
Oh.
as he's driving around. This thing has
Yeah,
been around for like years and years and years.
yeah. Newspaper clippings of the end of days, you name it, he's an Armageddon vehicle. Trust me.
Yeah, all those religious groups that are all about the rapture or whatever they call it are
Oh
pretty nuts.
yeah.
They'll
It's like
throw out
those.
written messages in the streets just so that people can like pick it up and said but he's good about it. I mean, I know that the original guy who drove the vehicle died, but his son took up I guess the
Oh.
thing, and he's kind of a staple here in Milwaukee. He's kind of like that. The end is near, you know. You know, it's kind of cool that we have that here, kind of staple here in Milwaukee. There's always got to be something to keep you on your toes.
We've got people that come to the gas station that have the scripture written all over the car, but they don't like preach from the loudspeaker or leave pamphlets. I'm pretty sure they're just on a bunch of meth.
I'm surprised no one vandalizes those vehicles with satanic messages.
Jehovah's Witness people are funny too. They'll show up in like vans and like come up to your door with like four people and try to ring your doorbell, and if you answer, they'll like give you like this stack of pamphlets and stuff.
Yeah, Watchtower. We get them here all the time. They're like the most metal things in the world. It's always
Oh,
fire and brimstone and like people burning in hell and shit.
See, that's
yeah.
that's when you get a German Shepherd, and you train them. See
No,
that?
no.
Attack.
I got one way
Call
better.
him call him Hellraiser, right?
I got a
Yes.
little story that I got to tell about that because it fits. I had a Jehovah's Witness coming up in the driveway. I was actually leaving, and they wanted to hand me one of their pamphlets, and I was like, "Oh, sure, I'll take that. You take mine." I just got back from Salem and had some witch pamphlets, and handed it to them, and they looked scared and ran away.
I was about to say you could make sure they don't ring at your door by putting a Baphomet shaped door knocker.
Well, just
Oh,
give
yeah.
him
Well, I
the
remember
Necronomicon.
before, a long time ago, before we had all the stuff we have now with the ring and all that crap. One came up to my mom's house, and she always had a German Shepherd, and she saw him coming up, and before they could ring the bell or whatever, the dog is barking, right? And she opened the door and she's holding it, and there's a um sign right on the window that says "Beware of dog." And the lady starts talking, and my mom pointed to the sign, and the dog's barking. And my mom said the lady's eyes got real big, and she turned around and left.
You know, answering the door naked is always a surefire way to get them to leave too. You just answer the door naked and act like it's not like the what you know. What's up?
That'll scare anyone off.
That's no moon.
Or you poke it through the fucking mail slot like that door at Jabba's palace. You know, that eyeball comes out. You just fucking poke your dick out the mail slot at him.
Alrighty, so going back to the movie, we just talked about the scene where the lady who almost was raped was talking about the end is near, whatever. Well, shortly after that is when the detectives showed up to the doctor's place, and that's when she brought them in, and that's when the lead detective was starting to look kind of creepily at her, like suspecting her of something. Um,
I think maybe he was the one who was creeped out.
Oh, that was later.
yeah, that was later.
Okay, yeah.
But they basically ask her if she knew anything about the jacket, and also.
Can I ask you a question?
Oh yeah,
All that.
oh yeah. I absolutely loved how she was making fun of them. She was like pissing at the very concept of authority.
Yeah,
Well,
she's
yeah,
like, she's like, is the
asked
mayor
them
your
if they were-
master?
Yeah,
basically asked
yeah.
them if they were in the mayor's pocket, basically.
And then they basically said that they worked for the city, and then she was like, I believe you. And
Right. I mean, they're fine. I love the addition of those detectives because it really cements the whole vigilante superhero kind of vibe to the movie. I think.
Yeah,
You know?
it was really good that she realized that they weren't scumbag cops
Exactly.
on the take, and she even compliments them that they're not. It was refreshing to meet two policemen that were not corrupted. I forget the exact word she said, but yeah, the young guy's like, thank you. Of course,
I
he's
love the
smiling, though.
dialogue between her and the police because she answered all their questions, but the way she answered it, they didn't know what else to say. They looked dumbfounded, you know.
Yeah, because she was like, they're sinners, and basically
awesome.
they got what they deserved. You know,
Well, yeah, because she doesn't know any better.
even the two cops, because you know, basically she's like, well, she didn't say it. She was like, you know, didn't they deserve it? You know, like she didn't like go out and say it. You know,
right? But see, she doesn't know any better of what she's saying. So the stuff that she comes out with is she feels this and it's for real, and
yeah.
because she doesn't know to censor what she's saying or think about what she's saying really. You know, she's just saying what she feels is right.
Yeah, in just a matter of fact way that like you have to have like a certain amount of innocence to think like that. She does a really good job of keeping the innocence of the character intact through the movie.
Yeah, because she's real innocent about the whole I want to have sexual intercourse with you guys. So.
Oh yeah, and she was saying that while he was sewing her freaking knife wound.
Which we'll get to. But first we have the detectives. They because of that conversation, I think with the girl, they decide to go. Is it now that they decide to go and talk to the mayor and say we'll put like some extra force? Or is it like after the club scene? Because they do put a tail on her, and the doctor and her go out. They go out to a movie, and it just so happens to be a porno movie.
Yeah. The doctor is looking uncomfortable watching it.
Yeah.
And the detectives are in the back of the room, and she just looks at them.
I think they really missed an opportunity not to have like a Pee Wee Herman lookalike in the back rows of the porno theater, just because I think this was around the time.
It was funny that that there was a guy next to the cops that he just kind of fell over when as she was looking at them. You guys notice that?
Yeah, I noticed that.
Like, did he die? Did he like pass out? Like, what was up with that? Like,
both of the cops were watching the movie real intently, like they were getting off on it.
Yeah, how often do you get paid to enjoy some fine fucking cinema like that? You know?
Yeah, the girl she thoroughly enjoyed it. She always wanted to see two people coupling.
And afterwards, he was like, that
I'm gonna
was a
start calling it that from
pornographic
now on.
film.
You never seen porn before? Never seen a movie before.
Well, and she
Yeah.
always thought that seeing the couples copulating would have been like the best thing, evidently. So,
she liked it.
well, in any
She's
case,
a dirty girl.
afterwards they go to a club, and there are obviously people dancing to like some techno music or some shit, like house music or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good staple of full moon films is the club scenes. Like almost every single one from the 90s has a club sequence where they go into some type of a place and there's loud music and dancing, and it's just maybe it's a sign of the times. I don't know. I can't think of too many other like horror films back then though that made a point to have club scenes. I mean, you had shit like Blade later on, but someone at Full Moon clearly embraced like the nightlife, so they would fit it in these movies a lot. I've always found it interesting.
Look at Buffy. I mean, almost every episode, tons of episodes were in the club.
Well,
Right.
in any case, there was a floozy that evidently went to the Doc's college at one point in time, and I guess she was emulating some feelings of that I want to fuck Doctor.
Yeah, she wanted to couple for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Which Veronica
was a little bit jealous.
Yeah,
just a tad.
I think I'll go powder my nose too.
Yeah. Get out.
What did she say? She's fine, man, you harlot.
So she ends up knocking her bathroom door in, and there's another guy who's evidently in a stall next to her, and he like comes out and knifes her while the chick is cowering against the other side of the room, and she's like, why is this happening to
Because
me?
you were assaulting some poor woman in the fucking bathroom. I mean, that's that's probably the only point in the movie where I felt she was being a little evil.
Oh, she was. She actually apologized to her after. She's like, I'm sorry. Like she realized.
To her credit, yeah, she does.
Yeah, she realized that her jealousy got the best of her, and she probably never felt jealousy before, so she didn't know what it was, and so she realized that she fucked up. She did. She fucked up, and she had to get stabbed.
She became a sinner herself, which is why she accepted the knife wound. So like,
yeah, she gets stabbed.
Too. I mean,
and she doesn't fall over or like barely fall back. She just kind of like, like like, oh well, no big deal. Let's go stabbed.
Of course, she then goes out on the dance floor, and the doctor notices that she's bleeding. So, before that even happens, that's when the lead detective comes into the bathroom. She's like,
yeah.
Well, have you seen what you needed to see, detective?
Yeah.
Well, why don't I show you what's?
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, that was great, and she shows him hell and the fire and the brimstone and everything, and he just like freaked the fuck out.
Oh yeah,
right after she showed him all the images, she was like, "Now I'll let you think on that for a moment, and I'll decide whether I want to come after you or not.
Yeah,
and I want you to stay away from Max, and I want you to stay the hell away from me, and I want you to stay off the fucking case."
Yeah, I love the scene. He's in the car, and he's just shaking. He's like, I'm so cold, and he partner hands him the coffee, and he's just shaking and spills the coffee all over him.
And he was like the tough guy of the two
Yeah,
detectives,
yeah,
you know.
the
So the
partner
other
was looking
dude's
at
totally like, what the fuck could have possibly happened? You know?
Yeah, he went from being the tough cop to being a fucking total fucking pansy. He was fucking shaking his
She
boots.
had him gaze into that
literally.
eternal hellfire, man. He didn't like what he saw.
In
Yeah.
fact, in the next scene, he actually hands his like almost his badge in.
Well, not quite, but he does want to get taken off.
Yeah,
the
he
case.
doesn't
He
want
wants
to
to
be
take
part of
himself off the case, and
Yeah, I'm
And,
going desk duty after some shit like that for sure.
right. He's like, yeah, I'm done. I love when the partner went to follow him too. He's like, no, don't follow him. Like,
And then he
he's
also
like, what?
starts saying the same shit that the chick did earlier.
The end day, yeah, it's the end days. Yeah, repent. Well, he ain't quite quite as crazy as her, but he was talking about the end days. It's the end days, and demons are coming up.
But anyways, we get Veronica and Max back at the apartment, and he immediately wants to take her to the hospital. She's like, no hospitals.
Don't forget, she types up that letter to the mayor too.
That's right. She does type up the letter to the mayor,
basically telling him to stop being the mayor, stop being in the politics, to
she
leave
put
it
in the
now,
last
or she's gonna
mouth,
kill
if I
him.
remember correctly.
Or she's gonna kill him. Yeah, it was great.
But they don't take that as a serious threat, though.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Well, they do. They don't, because he's gotten more.
The mayor doesn't take it as big of a threat.
Yeah, they probably get
They-
letters like that all the time.
They
You know?
attach
Yeah.
extra muscle to him because of that.
Yeah,
That's the reason why.
the falling asleep cop muscle.
Did you realize she refers in the letter? She refers to television as the magic box.
Yeah.
Oh, did she?
That would be. I mean, we'll all take it for granted, but how insane would it be to see a television for the first time if you've
Yeah.
never seen it or anything like
Hey,
it? You know?
I've been. It's been called magic box in other movies too. So,
It kind of is. I still don't fully understand the science behind how a TV works. I just take it at face value. You know,
Oh,
it's like it ends
TVs.
up on there.
TVs, phones, like all that stuff is kind of still mind-boggling. Like how do I make a phone call from this phone? Never mind all the other shit you do on phone.
You know what freaks me out?
Just the basics of it. And radios used to like.
You know what freaks me out and still freaks me out when you use the map thing on your phone. Or
the
whatever.
GPS.
Yeah, when you put that, how the fuck does that damn thing know that I'm here? And to tell me to go turn here and turn here. How the hell do you know where I am?
All types of crazy satellite networking.
Big Brother's watching you.
Yeah.
It's just like the things
freaky.
that they put in cars, like car track and shit like that. Where they can pinpoint your exact location because they've got a satellite thing.
Oh, like OnStar or
Yeah, it
whatever.
started in cars. Was it Star?
OnStar.
OnStar, yeah, that was like the first one, and
that's like the OG anti-theft tracker.
It's for the
But I think
protection
the first
too.
time David
Like if you're like I'm stuck somewhere, I'm lost, and they're like, well, let me pinpoint you, and then they will send help, type thing. So it wasn't just for anti-theft; it was
True. Yeah, there are like
yeah.
senior citizens that would get saved because of their OnStar and shit. You'd hear about it sometimes.
But I think the first time David used the map thing or whatever on the GPS, and he's like, well, I'll use this and it'll tell us, and I was like, okay, and he had the thing going and the thing's talking and it's going, and this many miles turn left and on this many, and I'm like, how the hell does this thing know where the fuck I am?
I wish we had the more expensive ones where they have actually more of a personality. Where you idiot, turn off the fucking road.
No, they have. You can download a Darth Vader one where it's Darth Vader telling you where to go. And I know, like one part it says, you are close to the dark side. To like the destination towards the dark side. Something like that.
I like the robot lady because she's so annoying that it's like easy for me to pay attention to over the natural sounds of driving.
Yeah.
But he
Please
fucking
make
infuriates
a
me
U-turn
sometimes.
back.
I yell at the fucking GPS all the time.
Oh, I love how
You
it's like.
forgot to turn here.
I love how I was in Boston, right? He's like, turn left here. There's 3 fucking lefts. Which one?
It's still freaky though how our technology is. It knows that, and it's like, you know, how the hell do you know where I am, and to tell me where to go? You know, it's just freaky.
Satellites.
Well, and
Well,
dude, I
and
was fucking
especially when you
watching
get
Stranger Things with the kid the other day, and there's a part where they're sitting in the back with a map, and my kid asked, like, what the hell is that paper that he has folded up there? And it occurred to me, it's like, she's never seen me use a physical map. Like, ever since she was born, GPS has existed, you know? So we're all in, like, the last generations of people that ever had to, like, use payphones or paper maps and shit, you know?
Whoa. Yeah, everything's electronic nowadays.
Yeah,
So
you got all
if
that shit
all
in
of a
one
sudden,
package, you know?
all of a sudden, if all electronics suddenly stopped for our generation of kids, they would.
Oh, they wouldn't know what to do.
Most of them would be fucked, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
honestly, I'd be kind of fucked. I'd be like, what the fuck am I supposed to do now?
My dad wouldn't be though, because he doesn't believe in any of it.
I'd read books, but I read books on my fucking tablet. Like, I wouldn't even be able to read.
It's just like
But see, my
when
dad,
you,
he still uses a map. He has a cell phone, but he only uses it when he's out on the motorcycle. Like,
Do you still have
as-
do they have a flip phone?
Yeah, I still
think-
keep a paper map in my glove box just
I
in
think
case.
it's
You
a
never
flip
know.
phone, but he doesn't have a computer. He has no idea how to use a computer. Doesn't want to know how to use a computer. He only has the phone, like I said. He takes it with him when he's going on the motorcycle, or he'll take it with him when he goes like fishing because he goes wherever, you know, just so he's got a way to call
he's of the
somebody in an
generation that
emergency.
just does not want to update, download, anything.
Oh yeah, there's people. My mother liked the technology. She just couldn't figure out how to use it. She didn't figure out her phone or smartphone, but that was it. I bought her a tablet. She never used it. She never figured out how to use it. I also bought her what do you call that? The box that allows you to put streaming sites on your TV. You know, when you have a normal TV. I bought her that. She ended up giving it to my sister because she never didn't know how to hook it up. I told her, you just plug it into the back of your TV. But she never figured it out. So after that, I was like, okay, no more electronics for you.
Your mom had certain problems with certain electronics too, didn't she, Tammy?
Well, she always had problems with the cell phone. Jerry, my stepdad, wasn't as bad, but it was like either Jerry's son Daniel would come over and fix their phones and fix whatever, or I'd end up coming over and doing the same thing. You know, they just, you know, when they both passed away, because they passed away 38 days apart. You know,
Oh.
my mom, she had this VCR that she had for years, and that was the only thing that she'd record movies on. She wouldn't record. Jerry had gotten 2 of these DVD VCR combos and had them on the TV in the living room and one in another room, and he to update, you know.
Yeah.
And she refused to use it. She would only use her VCR in the kitchen area with that TV, and that was it. She would
That's
not
adorable.
update. She would not even try and learn the new ones. Nothing.
I remember my grandmother bought this $800 VCR, and this thing was such a piece of crap. It didn't even have like buttons on the VCR to play or anything. It had a remote, and that was it. If you lost the remote, you're fucked. It was $800. $800, and at the time you could have gotten a VCR for probably $150, $200, cheaper ones. I was like, boy, do they see my grandmother coming on that one? She couldn't figure out how to use it. I had to show her. I was like 12, and I was figuring it out and show her how to use it and stuff. My grandmother never got the grasp of call waiting. Always just held the hang up button and just hung up on people. And it's absolutely hilarious. seeing some older people trying to use technology sometimes. I mean,
Yeah, the magic box will get them.
yeah, the VCR. My grandmother finally, when I showed her what to do, she ended up having the remote welded into the VCR because she didn't want to lose it. Of course, I wasn't happy that I had to get up and physically hit the buttons because I was a lazy kid. But but yeah, she had to do that because I was a kid. I also lost the remote on her a few times, so just in the couch, But I can see why she did it though. The stupid thing didn't have it. I mean, most VCRs would have play and rewind, fast forward. Most of the things that was on the remote would be on the VCR as well, and then you'd have the remote. This one didn't have anything; just everything was on the remote. And like I said, she paid $800 for this fucking piece of crap. It was just and she couldn't set the timeline too. I had to read the instructions and figure out how to set the time. I set the time for her too.
And the instructions were probably even worse than anything else.
Oh yeah, I figured it out. I was 12 and I figured it out no problem.
Yeah, instructions. They used to give you like a book for everything.
Oh yeah.
Now now if you buy like a brand new phone, it's like a one-page thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
it's normally like a paragraph, and the rest is in Spanish.
No, you get a address, a website address says go here for the instructions. You get a paper telling you with an address to go for the download.
Not only that, but you get a scan thing so that you can scan it into
your
phone.
I went to the movies. I went to the movies to see Spider-Man No Way Home, and they were showing us a couple scenes. And like, to see the rest of the scene, put your phone up here and go to the QR code. And I had no idea what the fuck that was, dude. I'm just like, I'm holding my phone up and it ain't doing nothing. It ain't scanning nothing. I'm like, I want to see the fucking trailer. I was mad. I'm like, what the fuck? They ended up showing like a bunch of other movies that they did show the full trailers, but there was like 2 movies that they're like, oh, go here if you want to see the rest of the trailer. And I couldn't figure out how to get that to work at all.
Actually, I'll admit I still don't know how to scan a QR code.
I can scan it now.
You gotta open up your camera, and
I don't know how to do it either.
Well,
you gotta open up your
tried.
camera. Yeah, I know how to do it now, but at that time, I had
like
no fucking idea.
To take a picture.
Well, I did try to do that. I turned the camera on and aimed it at that QR code, but nothing happened.
Yeah,
I tried to do that once too because that's what I was told to do, and nothing happened. I don't know.
Yeah, during pandemic, we had several restaurants who had QR codes for the menu, and it was.
Oh yeah. I went to one that did that.
I was just have Nami do it.
It was like, why can't we just have a menu?
Well, yeah, we went to Charcoal Grill and they wanted, and I was like, I don't know how to do that. Can I have a menu?
But can someone actually tell me what I did wrong? Like, I turned the camera on and aimed it at that QR code, and then
my daughter had to show me how to do the QR code in the restaurant too.
David will have to show me how to do that now that I have a phone that can do it, because I have no idea how to do it.
You just open your camera like you're taking a picture, and it supposedly scans it, and it like drops down with a message saying "Go here."
Yeah, it's pretty neat once you figure it out. But
why did that not happen? I did aim it at the QR code, and why did nothing happen?
I did the same thing.
You probably didn't open your camera right, or maybe you had where the camera is on the back of the phone, where you're holding your phone up to the front or the back. If you got to hold it to wherever your camera is, and if you are facing it the other direction, it won't work. So that might have been what you were doing. I know I did. Honest, I was flipping it both ways, but I never turned the camera on because I didn't know I had to. So, I'm flipping it back and forth. I'm holding it up and waving it around. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this thing?
Back to the movie, though. We are at the moment where they're back at the apartment, and he wants to take her to the hospital. She's saying no.
Stitch me up. Yeah, he's like, I don't have any anesthesia. And she's like, it's okay. I won't feel it.
And that's when she has the whole innocent I want to have sexual intercourse with you, and
Yeah,
he's like whoa, you are an interesting woman.
yeah, yeah. She's like all stabbed and shit, and she's like all just thinking about the movie, the porno movie, and have the sex with him. And I love how he's stitching her up, and her shirt's open, her boobs are hanging out, and he does a good job. He fucking he does it, stitches her right up, and he's like, don't move. She's like, not moving at all. She's just standing there. He's stitching her up. She's like, it's like nothing to her. And then he's like, you can shut your shirt now. And she's like, I don't want to. And then you see a nice shot of her boobs, and then she like kisses him, and that was it. Like he had said it wasn't the right time, maybe because of the stab wound or whatever. But
And
he
she
was
also said
actually
that she
he
might
was
turn
trying to
into
be a
something that
gentleman too.
she might turn into something that he may not be attracted to or some shit.
Right. And he ends up sleeping together, and her horns do come out, and her wings do come out, and
it is quite the coupling.
he's just like, I don't fucking care. You're fucking hot. I'm still gonna fuck you, which I would too.
Yeah,
I mean,
Captain Kirk style, dude.
Right.
You know?
I actually liked her
feel-
wings. I know Tammy had mentioned they could have done better. I kind of like the way they did her wings.
And if not,
It felt like demon wings to me. And the movie they called Dark Angel, but she is a demon.
and if not, just like in Scary Movie 2, he could always put a bag over her head and be like, "I'll still fuck you."
I never saw that movie, but well, I mean, she can't put the bag over the wings, but yeah.
I think it's just if they had more of a budget, it would have been
the
cool.
horns looked cute on her actually. There was just a little bit of bubbly horns, just like little bit pops out, and it just kind of made it look cute. Or
yeah, she does look super cute.
She does. She looks cute with the horns and the wings. I like the wings on her.
Maybe I would personally prefer if she had longer hair, but maybe that's just
I
me.
agree.
Otherwise, she's perfect.
She pulled it off though. Like there's some women that can have shorter hair and still look gorgeous, where other women don't. She definitely pulled it off. I prefer long hair myself, but she pulled off the shorter hair. Definitely pulled it off.
Yeah, the way I feel about Veronica here in Dark Angel is, in a way, she's kind of got like a Fifth Element kind of thing going on, where Jovovich played her in that movie. She had short, like reddish hair, so just kind of reminded me a little bit about that one. But moving on after the sex scene, which obviously was a high note for most of us. But
I'm sure it was a high note for Max too.
Sure was, and for her,
she ends up telling him to go to sleep, and that's when she goes and like takes out the mayor. And I love how the mayor's house, you hear all this like opera music, which kind of reminded me like every time I saw Stefano on Days of Our Lives, because every time.
Yes, I wasn't sure anyone else would make that connection.
every time you have a bad guy.
They like opera music.
It reminded me of Lex Luthor, because Lex Luthor liked the opera.
Fair comparison as well, for sure. Yeah. It's a bad guy trope for sure, like the opera music. I feel like a couple of those Bond movies have it playing in the bad guy's lair as well.
I mean, who was
opera is kind of spooky when you think about it.
But women and bad guys.
Yeah, she ends up putting.
You know who else likes opera music? Worf.
You?
Yeah, he likes Klingon opera. But in any case, also we have the sleeping guards because she puts them to sleep. And right as when she leaves his place, she's shot. And obviously, when she gets back, she's like, um,
She doesn't kill the mayor though. She does what she did with the cop and
Yeah.
shows him hell and what's he's gonna face, and basically
yeah.
tells him again to quit being mayor and
douche.
stuff, and
Right.
yeah,
Which
and,
makes sense. I mean, there's more benefit if she can put the fear of God or whatever
Yeah.
you want to
Well,
call
she
it
was
into
gonna
him
kill
to get
it,
him to
like,
do.
It was actually Max that taught her to have some forgiveness too, and that these people could have a chance to do better. Maybe you shouldn't just kill them
Well,
necessarily.
yeah.
Yeah, they could have
And
more
plus,
benefit if
Yeah.
she sets
there's
them on the
also
right
the
path.
moment of revelation that Max at point out asks her, "Are you in fact responsible for the murders happening around
Yeah,
here?"
after they have sex. Yeah.
It's a weird time to ask that question, but sure,
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
not? You know,
Oh,
I
by
guess
the
that's
way,
probably
I
when
know
I
we-
would have asked it
I
too.
know
though,
it just fucked, but did you kill those people? Oh, you
Well,
did.
I mean,
okay.
if it goes south at that point, you already got laid, you know?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
That's probably the smartest time to ask, I think, actually.
Yeah, you don't ask before. Yeah, like, oh,
Well,
by the
he
way,
seemed he seemed to take it in stride though about who she really was.
yeah,
He didn't seem to get that
yeah,
upset about.
well, she was fucking hot. He's like, I don't care. I don't care. You got wings in her. Like I said, the horns kind of made her sexier, and the wings.
Well, earlier in the
you know,
film, we learned that Max had already been losing faith because of all the patients that he keeps losing.
Oh, it
Well,
did.
the thing is, yeah. Well, he saves the creep, and the old woman dies. And the creep that she
Yeah.
shot because he was trying to rob her. He survives, and he's
that
kind of like
wears on a lot of
they're like
doctors.
good job, doctor. He survived. I didn't think so, and he's like, yeah, like he's kind of like thinking like, yeah, I saved this prick, but he deserved to be saved. But again, that's
So
the doctor's
his
job.
faith
And
was
what they
already
do.
altering then.
Yeah.
So, I think because his faith was like lost at that point in time, it kind of helped him ultimately accept like who she was.
Oh yeah, when he
Yeah,
finds out
I
she's a
mean-
demon from hell, he's like, if there's a hell, then that means there's a heaven too. And she's like, yeah, because he's a doctor, so he's probably more towards science and not religion. And she's just like,
Did we mention that that heaven actually sanctioned her?
we do not.
In fact,
Yeah, because her mother was praying for her daughter to be okay, and the angel came down in the bubble, in the Glinda bubble, and the angel I thought looks somewhat like Veronica, just like a blonde version of her, and dude, great. I thought she looked a little bit like her, but she told her, basically, she's working for God, and she's doing God's work, and to tell her husband that she's doing God's work. So
in fact, she basically told him to go back and like forgive her.
Although that was the second time she came, but yeah, the first time she came.
It's a super great touch though, because it's
it
like,
was.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they're gonna punish them anyways. All these bad people once they get down to hell. So she's already up on Earth. It like cuts down
Doesn't she
some
call
of
it
the.
like of the first order or
She's
something?
basically being the avenging angel, only she's a demon. It was that's why when I first started watching it, and then her father was like acting like a priest. I was like, this is fucking weird. Like I've never seen like hell, like demons be like,
Agents
like
of
they were kind of like
agents
angels,
of God.
And yeah, it was weird to me. I ended up liking it. It was a nice twist.
Yeah, it's a unique take on it.
It was just at
Instead of
first
hell being
so
all
weird that
fire
it
and
was
brimstone and hate and whatnot, they're just agents of the Lord.
Yeah, so it's like the demons and angels are basically like the same type of coin. It's just the
one
the
deals out
demon just does it.
torture.
Like I said, she's just basically an avenging angel. She's Michael, in this case,
So she
And
doesn't
yet
smell
she
like
is related to
cornflakes.
Judas Iscariot.
Apparently.
Oh, that's where the name came from. I knew it sounded familiar.
Yes,
I haven't read the Bible in a long time.
Well, it makes
I
sense when
read
you look
it,
at a lot of black metal stuff, and all of it's referencing Christianity and shit. There's a band called Judas Iscariot. I mean, it's
Even
There's a band
Judas
called Judas Priest.
yeah, I mean, it's all the opposite side of the same coin. But like you guys have pointed out, most movies wouldn't take that approach. They would have like hell be all anti-heaven and anti-God or something.
Yeah,
But
movies,
I like
TV
that they
shows.
thought about it a little
I
more
mean,
in this
even
one.
with Lucifer being he was kind of the opposite, but Hal wasn't. So even with Lucifer, he wasn't quite the evildoer that everyone is made out to think. He was kind of like
Right.
her. So yeah. It was definitely a different take, and at first I was just kind of like, and the dialogue was kind of bad too, so it was just kind of like, what the hell?
I think it's almost like I
kind of
said. I think it's them leaning into the sort of
But
like
later on, I ended up liking the idea that the demons were working, were they weren't the opposite of the angels. But it was kind of funny how, even though she was working for God, that the cross did burn her, and she did feel that if she went into a church, she would combust, even though she was working for God. But because she was from hell, I guess,
Right.
that was kind of strange. It was kind of like a vampire thing on her hand, just burned her. But it turned to fire. That was a great scene with the cross turned to fire, and the cross is burning, and
Yeah, it's
the
classic.
nuns are just looking at her like, what the.
I believe it's prominently featured in the trailer too, because it is like one of the more
I never
iconic
saw the
scenes in
trailer.
the movie.
I love how she just looks at them like they did it on purpose. She's just like,
Right.
why would you do
hurt
this
me?
to me? Why would you do this to me? And it's like, they were just trying to be good Christian nuns and trying to help her out, and they were actually decent people. I mean, I'm not a Christian, and I have issues with a lot of Christians, but they were decent. These two nuns were decent.
Yeah, they were
And
doing the good
they were
work or
trying to
whatever.
help her, and they didn't know that they the cross was gonna burn her. And
Like when she said she would combust, they didn't know she meant it literally.
yeah. I used to joke about that when people said go to a church. Now, I ended up going to my best friend's church because his father passed away, so I went to the wake and I was in the church, and I'm like, I hope I don't. I was like, I hope I don't turn to dust, burn and turn to dust. Going to the church, Catholic
Right.
church, and I'll joke about that, but yeah.
They're mostly harmless. They tend to just smell like old people books and cheap cologne. That's my experience with going to church.
I had bad experience going to that church. I did have an interesting discussion with a priest afterwards.
Did you know? Was there coupling
I did.
involved?
No, nothing like that. It was just an interesting discussion where we had a theological discussion.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think
theological discussion about don't know shit about the Bible. Like, I've read more than most Christians have, and so it was nice to have someone who actually had read it and actually knew what they were talking about, and they could dispute, have a friendly argument about it, which it was. We definitely disagreed on things. I was already a Wiccan and pagan and everything. As a matter of fact, I used to wear a pentacle.
Oddly enough, I think this film is one of those that there's probably a surprising amount of Christians that would be okay with this movie just because of the different approach that they take with it as well. They might not like the nudity and the violence because conservative Christian folks tend to not really want to encourage that. But on paper, I think this is one of those movies.
It's the nudity that they don't like.
Right. But you get what I'm saying, right? Like the way that this is handled, it's not
Yeah.
like necessarily blasphemous or anything. So it's I think there'd be a surprising amount of them that would be okay with it, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely a different take. I mean, I really enjoyed the nudity parts, though.
Of
Especially when,
course.
Of course.
I mean, seeing her tits and her coming on to him in the sex scene was great, but I think the best scene is you first see her, the first nice shot of her ass, and
Oh,
like,
and she's
that's
walking
a
through the
fucking
streets, yeah,
nice
and they do the
ass,
whole splash
and then
thing.
she's walking slowly, and everyone's just looking at her, staring at her, old women and God men and old men.
Isn't there one of those old ladies that looks at her and she's kind of like, not bad? Like she has that look on her face, like, I
She
wish I
definitely had that.
still looked
She
like that,
definitely
you
had
know?
that look of, that's pretty, pretty good. Like, yes, definitely. And this was in '92. Lesbianism wasn't shown that much in movies and TV shows
Right.
back then. So, and it was an older lady too, which was even more surprising. But
Yeah, I love that whole sequence
that
because it
definitely
just
was a. Yeah, it is weird though how she started running though. It's like I guess maybe she felt like, because to her, I mean, her being naked, obviously at first you could tell she was just like not a big deal to her, like it didn't mean nothing to her being
right.
naked, and then all of a sudden it's like all their eyes seem to make her feel uncomfortable or something. She
Yeah,
started
like she
running.
could feel like she was
Yeah, something's
attracting all this
wrong.
attention, so it made her feel
Yeah.
awkward about it, which is something. I mean, fuck, Splash didn't even bother to do that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's impossible not to see the similarities between this film and Splash or The Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
It's intentional, but they do it in a really good way where it's like it's definitely nodding to that stuff, but it's different enough and has enough different elements in it. You don't feel like you're just watching like a cheap remake of that.
Yeah, no, not at all. It's definitely not The Mermaid. I mean, it's definitely not Splash, but definitely has elements of it.
And dude, they do a good job too of like, because she doesn't just fight, she doesn't just combat like one type of evil, right? They easily could have made this movie kind of annoying if it was just all like, oh, I only kill like men that are trying to rape ladies in the park, and they could have easily given it like a lame sort of girl power thing or whatever. That probably would work for some people, but they spread it evenly across the board.
Yeah, it was definitely great how the first one is a mugger. And then
muggers,
they're basically trying to rape us,
corrupt cops,
and then they had the corrupt cops that were just hassling this black guy for just because he was a black guy, and she kills him for it, and of course he's still freaked out though. I mean, he's just like, you killed him, he's like, she's just like, of course they're evildoers, like
that's what you do. Yeah, man, I really love how it's so diverse, like the
mayor too. The mayor was a different kind of he was kicking people out of their homes and being just and saying it's basically they're having kids just be on the welfare and whatever, and they deserve to be homeless and stuff like that. He was just a real scummy fucking mayor, and so she went after him too. And
even I love that she is innocent enough to see that he's evil. Even with as clueless as she is about the world, just seeing him on TV, it's like this guy's clearly a piece of shit too.
He's
probably the worst because he's like the ruler or whatever.
When Max said that he voted for him, she didn't say anything because she said the people voted him in, and even I did.
She unfriends him on Facebook.
Unfriend.
Yeah, blocked.
That's Willow.
No coupling for you.
She blocked me too. But
well, in any case, getting back to the movie, we have her showing back up at the apartment. She is in dire straits here because she's been shot. Well, apparently the Glinda bubble shows up. I don't know why, but I like this moment where they just beat their asses up.
The Glinda actually went to the parents first. The second time they went to the parents.
Yeah.
And both parents asked permission because she had to bring her home because she had to have permission. And then that's when she told the father to apologize for the way he treated her and that she was an emissary of God.
Yep, and she's got to be taken back to be dipped in the river Styx or some shit.
Yeah, River Styx to be healed.
And Dr. Max, he wants to take her to the hospital, but Glinda shows up in the mirror, like, kind of similar to in Return to Oz, you know.
You see all the glowing white background, and
yeah.
I definitely like the mirror scenes, the portals, where it's even though she was taking her to hell, it looked like she was going to heaven.
Because we did kind of forget about that moment where the mayor went into the bathroom and his teeth were falling out.
Oh yeah, that was
that's
great.
great.
You see his teeth falling out and his hand, his hands all like breaking apart and bleeding and stuff, and then he comes out of the bathroom and he's normal.
They do a really good job in this movie. I mean, the effects are great, but they don't overdo them constantly. So each time that you get a bit like that, it's like impactful.
Yeah, it was definitely, like I said, I didn't really, like I said, the first Hell part, I definitely didn't really care for the graphics. I mean,
you'll be more fond of it when you see other full moon movies
it
where
was
they
definitely,
reuse it.
You definitely knew it was a B movie, and but later, like I said, once she came to Earth, I enjoyed everything about it. Like it's totally, I totally enjoyed the movie. It was just that at first I was not the biggest fan of it, and didn't, but I definitely enjoyed it when she came to Earth. And
what if hell looked exactly like that, though?
Those dudes shaking their heads and getting branded and stuff. I mean, it reminded me of like something you'd see in like a Slayer music
the brand
video.
was cool. The branding was cool. I enjoyed that part. That I liked that.
I like the imagery in general, but I would agree with you that the dialogue is a bit ham-fisted and corny. Like it does. It feels like they were trying to almost make it have that Disney movie vibe, which
actually
I like a little bit.
Like they were trying to have it more like Conan the Barbarian moment, where we have some like
I could see that too.
Where they used to enunciate what they'd say, and like if they were like on a stage playing, they were doing Shakespeare or some shit like that,
Right? Yeah, which can be hard to take. I mean, I would compare it to like when I read Thor comics very rarely because I don't like the way those Asgardians talk. So it's like I'm fine. Like I enjoy Thor, but I prefer it when he's like not talking to a bunch of those people because it's just hard.
Oh, I love that talk. I absolutely love that talk, and I'm just the opposite there. I enjoy it thoroughly.
But you can see what I'm saying, right? Like,
I definitely can see
or Shakespeare might be a good example too.
Yeah, I love Shakespeare talk.
Like, I don't mind that Shakespeare speak when it's like a character in a movie, like in the full moon movie Sideshow. Phil Fondacaro's like reciting Shakespeare the whole time, but he's the only one doing it.
But
so
Romeo and Juliet with the fucking guns, the remake, that and the speech. And the guns didn't mix at all, and I hated that.
No, yeah, that could have been a great movie.
That's why I hated that fucking movie. I just hated that fucking movie.
Yeah.
I was so mad. I took a date to go see it, because it's Romeo and Juliet.
Oh wow, bummer.
So fucking horrible.
Good soundtrack, but yeah, that was pretty much the best.
You're like, oh, we're gonna go on a date. Oh, Romeo and Juliet. Yeah, this is perfect for a date, and then we got this crap. It's like, wow.
I like the old school one with Olivia Hussey, but I'm pretty much a sucker for anything that she does.
I guess my sister said that that they had to watch Romeo and Juliet. She was in like a night school, and they all voted on which version, and most were all younger girls, and they all voted for the newer version. And my sister and another girl were like, can we watch the old version and just do it? And the teacher's like, go ahead. Like the teacher let them.
Nice, dodge the bullet, literally.
Yeah. It was just like she had already seen that, and she didn't want to watch it again. So, yeah.
Speaking of, I guess, music, since we mentioned that earlier, what did you guys think of the score for this?
Oh, I thought the score was pretty darn good. I like the orchestra
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
It
good.
almost reminded me of like Simonetti from like Goblin, but I know that it wasn't.
Yeah, it's like a little bit more subdued than that, but it does have that same quality, and it fits the movie really well. It's not the catchiest of Full Moon scores, but it doesn't need to be. It needs to be what it is, and I like it quite a bit. Fun little tidbit about it is that a couple of tracks from this actually were used also in The Pit and the Pendulum, which was a Stuart Gordon film that he did for Full Moon. And it's kind of got that biblical thing going on, but on the other end where it's like about crazy Spanish Inquisition shit and like witch trials and stuff, so got Lance Henriksen, Bishop from Aliens, as Torquemada the Mad Monk. It's a solid one. I think all you guys would enjoy it. And you've seen it, Dave, but these guys haven't.
Yeah, I have.
No, I haven't seen it.
You might have seen. Well, it's possible actually.
No,
That Pit and the Pendulum, because it was like technically a remake.
I have heard of it, so that's something.
Yeah, because there's a what is it, Dave? What is
It's
it?
Edgar Allan Poe.
But there's like a Vincent Price version, isn't there?
Yeah,
That
there's a
was
Vincent Price version. There is also the Stuart Gordon version. They also mimic it on Tales. Not Tales. The Midnight Society.
Yeah. And then what's that movie from Mario Bava?
Are you afraid of the dark? They do kind of a Pit and the Pendulum type thing.
Nice. It makes a good double feature with this. Like, I actually might go watch it today just for fun, because it is kind of like a different end of the whole religious horror spectrum, I guess. And it is nice to, I would imagine. I mean, I never consciously realized that the music was in there. I read that on IMDb, but it will be fun to watch it again and see, like, oh shit, yeah, that is that music from Dark Angel. And I think, even though you didn't like love the hell scenes, when you see other movies that they reuse it in, like, it is neat to see it at the beginning of Witch House, because it's like, oh shit, they've like repurposed that random hell imagery really good for these flashbacks. When it fits the movie. You wouldn't even think that it wasn't from Witch House, but they just recycled the footage from this. So.
Right. Which I guess when you're doing B movies, it's a good way to save money and
see. I didn't take
sure.
it as a B movie, because I can imagine that this was on TV at one point in time for sure.
Oh yeah,
it was definitely a B movie.
It's lower budget, Yeah, I mean, for some, we have a different scale for B movies, Dave, because we're used to much lower budget stuff. But I guess fucking Full Moon probably. I would consider them high-end B movies,
Yeah, I would agree with that, because like the rest of the movie was good, but like everything else they did was spot on, was great, especially for '92.
It's like Mordred's a great example too, where it's like this, this movie rocks, but you can clearly tell every now and again where it's like the budget shows through a little bit.
It was just the hell scene and the dialogue in the beginning that really yelled "B movie" to me. I mean, I remember it reminded me of an '80s movie. B movies at first. So. That's why I was just kind of like, hey, I don't know if I'm gonna like this movie, but it completely turned around. So I'm glad I really.
Yeah, Full Moon's always been good about their movies being better than they have any business being when you consider the sum of their parts a lot of the time. And it also is a great example of, like, we think of just to throw it out there, like most of these Full Moon movies in the '90s cost like $2 million, But when you compare that to like an actual Hollywood production, that's a drop in the bucket.
Right, exactly. Like, I mean, $2 million is a lot of money, but compared to blockbuster movies and big movies,
where it's like billions of dollars.
It ain't shit. So and it's just I like my big Hollywood movies and blockbuster movies and just in general, a movies type thing. Just my preference more, but I mean, there's some good B movies. Like I said, the Mythica series is definitely B movies, but they're really freaking good. But it's sword and sorcery, so
it just all depends on how much actual passion and shit that they put into them,
Yeah.
So I guess this is where we kind of get into production. So, or did we pretty much talk about it? I mean,
Well, we didn't really we didn't completely mention the last scene. I mean, she shows up, brings her to hell, and well, of course she doesn't want to go because she's like, what if I can't come back? And you know, he's like, well, you know, you got to get better, and he's like, I'll do something horrible, so we end up together.
Yep.
And then she goes with the angel, and she goes to the portal of the mirror, which I thought was really cool. I thought that was really cool. The way she just walked into the mirror, it was like the portal. It was almost looked like she was going into heaven with the back white and stuff, but we know she was going down in hell. And then her coming back was really cool. We saw the mirror again, but it's all fire and flames, and she walks
Yeah,
through
that's rad.
the portal, and I wasn't even sure it was her. I was just like the way she came through dressed this time. I was like, wait, how come this time she was able to go through a portal and end up right in his apartment, and she's dressed like the first time
I
she
think
ended
she just stripped down for fun.
because the first time she comes up from the sewer and she was naked. So I kind of wondered that myself.
If you really wanted to nerd it out, you could say too, like, oh, maybe the only fucking imagery she's ever seen of humans was like ancient, so she thought that they didn't wear clothes, you know. And then she gets out there and she's like, yeah, I probably should have brought a spare fucking tunic or something, you know.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I
That's
think
fun to think about.
I think to me, I think they were going for more for it was like her being born because you're born naked, right?
Yes,
So it was like
exactly.
her being born as a human, even though she wasn't a human. But she lost her wings and she lost her horns, and then she became naked, because she was being born as a human. So that's I think that's just more of it. And of course, she had just like a babies and you know little kids. They love running around naked, and they don't know any better that they shouldn't be running around naked. You know, and she just basically had this same thought, except when all the people were staring at him, like people don't stare at a little kid naked, you know, but they were staring at her naked. It was like, oh, maybe there is something wrong with this, you know?
You're right.
So, yeah, but yeah, but yeah, I really loved the portals, the white portal and then the flame portal. The flame portal was definitely the best. It was that in the way she came through it. That was definitely metal.
Yeah, they nailed the visual effects.
That was totally metal, and I could see that be
fucking
used in a metal video or something. That was definitely great.
And then, of course, the
Definitely one of the
gore
best
effects
scenes.
are pretty top tier, you know,
Oh yeah,
especially
yeah. I mean,
considering.
when she pulls the spine out. I mean, the heart was cool, but the spine was probably the best.
Yeah, that's
gore
one of the
scene.
best kills in any
That
full
was-
moon movie.
yeah,
Might
no,
be the best kill if I had to pick
I haven't
one.
really watched a lot of Full Moon, so I can't say. But
Dave
as
can attest,
far
they
as-
don't typically go for like
as
extreme
most
gore. So
as
when you
most
do
horror
see it,
movies
it's
go, it was definitely it was gory, but it wasn't that gory. I mean, I've seen worse, way
it's
worse.
not ridiculous. You know?
Yeah, it was enough to show what they did and
well, I suppose at least they had blood on the spine that she took. Took
oh
out.
yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah.
definitely they didn't cheese that up. I mean, I think they did a really
Yeah.
great job showing that a spine and also the heart when the dog was eating it, and he's like, "Oh, that's disgusting food. What's he eating?" You know. So yeah, I mean, I thought, like I said, the production, the beginning, I thought was weak with production. My take on it, I think it was a lot weaker. But the rest of the movie was spot on. Everything was great. You know, it felt more closer to a big budget movie than a B movie. The rest of the movie did.
Right. You don't have as
So
many
it's like,
moving parts to see
I mean, I
the
can
flaws,
imagine
you
doing
know?
a hell scene could be expensive, and you know the way they did it for their budget, and I get that. It's
It
just
does work a little better when
it
it's
just
used as quick cuts in
yeah,
other movies.
it
you
just
know?
the way
Well,
they started the film that way is wasn't the best start for me.
Well,
But
uh,
yeah,
in all honesty, regarding the fact that it is a low budget movie, I'm actually quite impressed with how
Yeah, I
they.
love it myself,
Yeah,
but I could see
I'm
how
impressed
someone
with the
else
rest
might
of the
look
movie.
at it and be like,
It's just
eh.
the hell scene really felt really
I think it's just
simplistic.
that really the dialogue is the main thing.
Yeah,
That
I agree. The dialogue's definitely the worst.
it'd probably be fine if it. I mean, like I said, I love it personally, but I
Yeah,
can understand your.
I love it
the
personally.
scenery might have been better if the dialogue was better. Maybe you're right. But yeah,
Possibly.
the dialogue was definitely like, what the fuck?
I almost get the feeling they shot it like after the fact or something because
It
the
is funny.
acting gets better once they're out in the world.
I never saw any trailer or anything, so I had no idea who the main character was. But the second I saw Veronica, I was like, "Oh, I bet it's her." You know, as soon
Oh
as I
yeah, she's
saw
got that
her,
aerial thing going on a little bit with like the reddish hair and
you got the
yeah,
redhead, and the girl next to her was pretty too. But I was like, "It's that redhead.
she's
It's
too
got to
much
be."
of a coward.
Yeah, I
I
was
think
right. So
I think I actually agree with Crow a little bit though. The beginning scene does look kind of hokey to me in the hell scene. You
yeah,
know, I thought it was a little bit hokey, and I was like, I hope this gets a little bit better than that, and it did.
it does.
It got a lot better, but I thought the
I didn't think
beginning
it would
was
get
just
better. I was just like, "Ugh, I don't think I'm gonna like this." That was my thought, because usually if it starts out like that, it stays like that. Like it's just gonna go like the movie we watched last week. It stayed throughout the whole film, the way it was made. People made. So
Yeah, see, and that's something definitely that like Full Moon's a much larger, more I guess like streamlined professional studio
well,
than
I
a
knew it
lot of the.
was. So I was expecting a little better, I guess.
Yeah, and to
Even though
be
I knew,
fair, the hell part, what is it like the first like 7 minutes of the movie or something like that? I
yeah,
mean, they get you out in the world pretty quick, so it's
yeah. It doesn't. They don't really. They don't
if it
really.
had drug super long, I
Yeah, they
might
don't
not
really
even like
drag
it.
you along on it. Thank goodness. It felt like it dragged on enough. Just because I didn't like it, but it really wasn't that long. It just felt longer than it was. Like you say 7 minutes, and I'm thinking, wasn't it like at least 20?
I feel like it's like 7 to
You
10
know,
maybe
but it
minutes.
just felt longer to me because it was so kind of
Am I am I the only one who didn't think the hell scene was that bad?
Well,
Except
I,
for
like I said, I
like
love it
Mo said,
personally.
I love
I'm
you're used to
I don't
really B movies, and so to you, it was probably
see.
way
You say B
better.
movie like it's a bad thing.
Well, I've always thought of
right.
You
B
say it
stands
like
for
it's a
B
swear word.
stands for bad, dude. B stands for bad. That's always been my thought, dude. Like,
Nah, I think it just means budget, but I've never actually looked into it.
I agree. It probably does, but in my mind, it meant bad because it probably does mean budget. But I just don't particularly care for too many. I mean, there's some B movies I do like, obviously.
Oh yeah, that's the point of exploring it with us.
But
I mean,
in general, I'm not going to sit there and really want to watch a bunch of B movies. It's just not my thing. Except, like I said, with Mythica, I watched all those back to back to back. There's four Mythica movies, and they're definitely B movies, but they're sword and sorcery, and they're really good. Sword and sorcery can get away with it sometimes if they do it right.
it all just depends. I mean, if this movie was something that they just cranked out to make some cash and there wasn't some legitimately good ideas and like passion behind it, it would probably
it probably would have sucked. But it definitely. I mean, even like I said, Veronica wasn't. I mean, she was pretty, but even her, like in the beginning, wasn't. I don't know. It just didn't like. She looked way better in the sex scene with the wings and the horns. The horns look cool even in the beginning, I think, but I don't know. The wings were not quite great, but in the sex scene, it was. I don't know. It's. But hey, I've always had a thing for female vampires, so maybe I like female demons too.
I as you know, I have loved female demons for
I
quite a
watched
while now.
Blood Rain, and she's pretty fucking hot too.
You can kind of see how this movie had some influence on stuff like that too. Like, there's several characters in pop culture that like Lilith from the video games Darkstalkers. I'm pretty sure it was inspired a little bit by
never heard that.
Veronica. It's like Street Fighter, but with a horror theme.
Cool.
So you can be like Alucard or like the Mummy or different things like that. You know?
Oh, the Alucard. It's like Dracula backwards.
Yeah.
Just like my name, if anyone hasn't figured it out, is Satan backwards.
Yeah, it did take me a moment to figure it out.
Yeah,
but
Dave
I
like
went-
pronounced it wrong too. I'm like, dude, it's not this. Satan backwards.
But in any case, now that we talked about a little bit of production, I think we can go into. We talked about the music.
Yeah. we did.
So let's go into favorite scenes and favorite characters. So
Surprisingly, there was definitely some contenders in there for favorite scenes.
I think if I had to choose, I'm a huge fan of that initial splash style introduction to the world. I love a good stranger in a strange land story.
Oh,
And
I
this
agree. I
movie
think
sets
that's
it up
my
pretty
favorite scene,
perfectly.
too. I mean, her
So
ass is just.
That's probably my favorite, like non-violent scene. I think obviously the spine rip is pretty great. And then I think my third favorite would probably be where she puts the fear of hell in that fucking police detective in the bathroom.
My third favorite is actually the cross scene. I just love how I agree with the first two. They're exactly the same as mine. But the third scene for me is the cross.
I like
And
that one a
Veronica's
lot
definitely
too.
the best character.
It's hard to choose. There's a lot of good scenes in this, you know.
That's what I was saying. There's actually a lot of good. I mean, that scene that you said was great. I really enjoyed that scene as well. But you know that cross, the way that it just burned her, and the way she was like, "Why would you do that?" And I love the whole I'll combust going to the church, and then they hand her the cross, and then starts burning, and she drops it, and it's on flames. It was just really well done. And then of course, I have to mention the portal at the end, the white background that seemed almost like heaven, and then the fiery hell return was just phenomenal. I love those as well. So I'd have to say there's 4 scenes for me. And you know, there's a lot of movies where I can name 1 or 2 scenes easily, but you know, this is one that even for the what it was, a budget movie, there's definitely quite a few scenes that were really, really good. And the acting and dialogue was way better. Like once they got on Earth.
Yeah, that's why I get the idea they filmed like the hell stuff quite a bit before they filmed the rest of the movie. You know what I mean? Like they maybe put that together as like a proof of concept thing, and then they eventually shot the rest of the movie and then just plugged them together because the whole tone of it changes drastically.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it just completely. It's completely like I said, it's better. It's the dialogue, the whole. It looked like Earth. It looked exactly. It didn't look like a cheap version of Earth, like the hell did. You know, it really looked like they were on Earth, and she was in a big city. They never really said what city she was in.
Hard to say. Back with Full Moon back in these days, it very well could have been like not even America. It could have been like somewhere in Romania.
Well, they were all talking American.
I'll look real quick.
So it felt like it could have been American. It really felt like it could have been like.
Oh, they're good. Yeah, yep.
It felt
Romania.
like it could have been like Los Angeles or New York or something, because the way
that's just a testament to Full Moon's production value back in those days when they had the Paramount money, because all of it was shot in Romania.
Yeah,
Bucharest,
right, but it just felt like it could have been. I mean,
like
we didn't see any of the Statue of Liberty
you know?
or anything famous or nothing, but it just felt like it could have been one of those cities because the mugging and the raping and the police and the crooked mayor, it just all felt like something that could have been like Los Angeles or New York or something like that. You know, some big city places where you would expect to see that kind of stuff. You know, it's not a small town.
Right.
So, yeah, they did. So it definitely felt like it was 2 different movies from the beginning section to the rest of the movie. So yeah, definitely a great movie. Those are my favorites and favorite character.
Okay.
Who are you guys?
Go ahead, Boris. This was your pick.
Okay, my favorite character would be who? I think I'd go with the mayor.
What the hell?
I'm just kidding,
I was
of
going to
course.
say, come on, man. If you don't think Veronica, there's something wrong with this world.
Of course, my favorite character is Veronica. Who
I
else
mean,
would
Max is
it
okay,
be?
but Veronica's the hot redhead that we see
Uh,
naked.
oh, is that all you like about her?
No, I like all of it. I like all of it, but hey,
Yeah, she is definitely my favorite character. Like almost whenever she was on screen, I was like mesmerized how
oh
amazing as a
yeah.
character she is.
Now
Uh,
on on online, I saw a picture of her blonde, so I think she might be a natural blonde. But I really liked her as a redhead. Um,
uh,
uh, she's actually old. Yeah, she's old. She's 8 years older than I am. But she was like
Oh yeah, she's
20.
probably in her
She was 27 when she did this film.
oh,
right, and it's like 30 years old, I think, now at this point. So yeah, that
Yeah,
tracks.
it's 31. She's 58.
Yeah, she looks like she'd probably still be pretty hot as an older woman, though.
Yeah. Actually, I was looking. I was like, I don't like older women usually, but she might be she might be pretty hot still.
It'd be rad to see her at a convention so I could have her sign this and The Wedding Singer. That would be fucking epic.
Oh, that'd
all
be fucking
right.
cool.
Uh,
That'd be cool.
and my favorite scene, well, it's difficult to pick one because I liked every scene whenever Veronica did something eccentric. Like, of course, I loved when she killed those assholes, the rapists, and those cops who were torturing that black guy. I also I also love the way she was screwing around with the detectives, and of course she scared the shit out of the main detective. And the sex scene was good, of course, and what she did to the mayor. Actually, the scene with the mayor, maybe I didn't properly comment on it earlier, but although I honestly wouldn't have felt bad for him if she had killed him, but I also like it this way.
Yeah,
Like,
she gave him a chance, and he did. He stepped down and he repented and he realized, that he was a scumbag all his life, and he says this on TV, basically.
uh,
And,
yeah,
and I
so
like that.
that
I like that better than her killing him.
uh,
He kind of redeemed himself, and that's always better.
yeah, and sometimes leaving a person with everlasting fear is maybe a worse punishment than death.
Right. Did anyone else
Yeah.
think that she was gonna scratch his back like bad when her nails popped out and they were having sex? Like I totally
Yeah.
was expecting that. Like,
Definitely.
and I don't know about you guys, but when women scratch your back during sex, it's fucking awesome.
All right.
I don't
nails
know.
probably
I think I
hurt.
would probably chuck her directly out of the bed.
But her nails probably
The
would
fuck are you doing?
I was expecting some
When
blood.
nails are slightly on your back clutching you,
That's fine, but actually
Oh.
digging them in, that's just gonna.
Oh
piss
no,
me
I like to dig in, but her nails probably would have hurt. But hey, whatever.
And she'd have been stitching him up after that, you know.
Not to
I
get too
think
personal, but
you like that
uh,
animal sex. That's what you
I
like.
do. I do.
That
You and me, baby, ain't nothing but males.
hot, sweaty sea monkey love.
I think if I had to pick one favorite scene, I think it would be, even though it's maybe the least violent one, but the one when the detectives were interrogating her and she was verbally mind fucking them. That was a moment I really enjoyed because even though she didn't do anything that crazy there, it's
It's the
kind
way
of
she said it. It's the
the
way she was like, and she was like interrogating them, or especially the maid cop, and the way she's like, it was just great the way she was saying, basically, are you puppets of the mayor in his pocket and stuff, and she just like goes on and on a big string about it.
I always get a kick out of scenes when someone shows off their superiority, their position of power over figures of authority.
Yeah. She had no fear of them whatsoever. Like, she was not.
She didn't give a shit
She
about
she was justice of a higher power in her mind. So these were lesser beings of justice.
Exactly. That's what I loved about that scene.
I hate to jet early, but my dad needs some help with some stuff. He's having some issues. So.
Yeah. Speaking of which, where is Tammy?
Did you want to?
I'm here.
Did you want to say your favorite Smove really quick?
Oh, like I said, it's hard for me to choose a singular favorite. I think if I had to come down to one, it's probably just that intro with her walking through the street. Definitely, she would be my favorite character in the film. But I'm also partial to the idea of her having like a hellhound. I thought that was a really nice touch. So
right.
I like the fact that it was a German Shepherd. I'm not a big dog fan, but German Shepherds are kind of like a different breed. I like German Shepherds.
They've got a regal but sort of sinister look to them.
They do. I mean, you don't want to fuck with them, but they also can have a cuddly side too,
right?
Which I've seen personally. So
those are probably my favorite scenes and favorite characters. But like we touched on, this movie has so much good stuff going on in it that it is hard for me to narrow it down to just one. If you asked me on a different day, I might say something else.
Yeah.
I'm glad you enjoyed it though, Boris. Thank you for checking it out, dude.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you for recommending it too, because I really enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, I'll put together a list of other movies for you to check out from Full Moon.
Please do that.
I do want to check the Vampire one out.
Yeah, you're gonna love those, dude.
I think I might have seen one years ago. The first one.
It's possible. It's definitely possible.
Yeah. So, whoa! Thank you for showing me that movie. I didn't. I'm sorry it took me so long to watch it, but
no worries, bud.
I'm definitely glad I did. Thank you so much.
It's funny. Last time I picked Boris's movie for him, and this time you picked his movie for him.
All right. Well, it's nice seeing you too as well, Tammy. Sorry I had to bounce early.
All right, you take care.
All right.
Let me know what her favorites were in the chat, though, if you can, Dave. Or Tammy. Yeah. I'll see you guys later.
Okay, see you. Well, thank you once again.
So what are your favorites, Tammy?
Yeah.
Well, one of my favorite scenes is the same as Boris. I like the bantering
the naked
with
girl?
the cops. I thought that was really cool because she's answering everything so innocently, but yet,
Yeah, the way she's saying it, like.
Right, because she doesn't understand the laws and everything, or the way.
Yeah, like she's totally saying, "Hey, I'm guilty. I'm guilty. I'm guilty." Holding up a blinking sign saying, "I'm guilty." I mean, you look at her; it doesn't look like she could do what she did.
Right.
But the way she was talking, yeah, you're kind of a nutcase. Like if I was the cops, that's what I'm thinking.
And the German Shepherd Hellraiser is definitely a nice touch. I grew up with German Shepherds, so I've always loved them as a dog.
Yeah, like I said, they're definitely
I think he fits in I don't.
I didn't wish for the dog to die in this one.
Go and have the Rottweiler at Omen.
I
think the German Shepherd fits just.
Yeah, Rottweilers can die.
Well, actually, I have to say, although I do like German Shepherds generally, to me, my first thought when I see a German Shepherd is that TV show Inspector X, if that's what it's called in English. Maybe
I have no idea. I never heard of it.
Okay, let me Google it quickly if
The
that's
only
what
inspector
it
that I know is Gadget.
is.
But he
Right.
doesn't have a dog.
Okay.
No, he has a niece that actually solves all the things for him, and he takes the credit.
Uh, yeah, yeah. The show is called Inspector Rex in English. It's an Austrian show that later becomes Italian. It's a detective show with a German Shepherd as kind of the main character who always solves the case. So yeah, my when I see a German Shepherd, my first thought is. Uh, that police dog from that show, not a
When I see a
hellhound.
German Shepherd, I actually think of my friend
Uh,
Kenny had a German Shepherd, and that dog was actually really friendly to me and nice. Like one of the only dogs I got along with well. But
uh,
me and Kenny was sometime roughhouse, and the second the dog thought I was hurting his master, the dog was like at me.
oh.
Normally, like I said, very friendly and kind with me. But the second he thought maybe I was being too rough or whatever, which I wasn't. But the dog would step in. Like she was very protective of her master. But I mean, she was protective of everybody, but especially him. You know, and yeah. So like I said, I've had good experiences with German shepherds. She never bit me, but she let me know that. Back off.
Alrighty. So, me, I, um, I'll have to say that my favorite character was Veronica. Um,
Who could
I,
imagine?
she was good looking. I mean, she didn't have man titties, so that was good. Sometimes when it comes to like low budget films, they put a chick who has like no tits whatsoever, and it's like, why would you put someone like that in that role? But um, that being said, my favorite scene or scenes would probably be. I'm gonna have to go with the rapist scene is a pretty good one. The pretty much any. I did enjoy the scene where she had run away. She ended up running away because she thought they hurt them or hurt her. I did enjoy the sex scene. Um, I did enjoy the jealousy scene. So there were a lot.
Oh, oh yeah, yeah. How could I forget to mention that scene? It was amazing.
And each of the times that she actually like showed them what was waiting for them in hell.
Yeah. Oh, and did you all notice we kind of forgot to mention that at the very beginning, her heartbeats sounded like the screams from hell.
That's right, they do. And there's also something um, from the screams of hell that happens. I forget when, but it made me think, oh, why was that happening? But
Oh, what?
I'll have to watch the movie again because there was a moment that she exhibited or you heard the screams of hell from something. But any case, that is. I think those are my favorite scenes. I just love the movie all around. The movie doesn't make me feel like it's a B movie at all. So,
Pretty
In the
much.
beginning scene,
not even in the beginning, I thought those scenes
weirdo.
were awesome, and I'm used to like dialogue being like that. So,
Kroll, why are you so hell-bent on hating the hell scene?
because it was a bad scene.
Okay, to each their own. But
Like Mo said,
at the end of the
the
day,
dialogue was horrible. It was like I said, it was two different films. When she came to Earth, it was completely different. It was great. It was a great movie. I really enjoyed it. It was just that first scene that was bad.
The only problem I have with the hell scene is that that teacher and her father, they never get their comeuppance for slapping her. That's my only issue with it.
well, they're the ones controlling the thing. They don't have any authority that can beat them senseless. They are the authority in hell. So,
Unfortunately.
but in any case, well, I think that's it, ladies and gentlemen. So, hopefully, you enjoyed our discussion on the film. Like and share and subscribe if you can. Let us know down in the comments what you thought. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. With Crow's pick that he's.
No, 2 weeks is Tammy.
We're gonna go into the great beyond of space.
2 weeks is Tammy, dude. I'm 3 weeks from now.
Oh yeah. I guess we're gonna do another full moon. For Tammy. Sorry,
Yep,
I was getting ahead of
That actually sounds really familiar. I wonder if I've
Meridian.
Cool.
It's the story of two wolves, werewolves. Just to let you know.
Oh, so not werewolves, just wolves that.
No. Actual.
Well, people that turn into wolves and they call them werewolves.
No. They actually transform.
Yes, into wolves.
They're not wolves.
They look just like wolves.
Well, they look like werewolves.
Okay, so.
But in any case, yeah. I look forward to talking about that. I'm glad that we were able to cover a full moon film, and hopefully we can cover more of these in the future.
1990 film.
There's nothing wrong with that. You make it sound like it's a bad thing. But in any case, just
I didn't say anything. I just said it was a 1990 because I just looked it up.
But everyone say good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Night.